$84 trillion is set to change hands over the next 20 years. Whether you're passing it down or inheriting it, the decisions you make today will shape your family's financial future for generations. Welcome to the Great Wealth Transfer, where David Pulcini, CFP, guides you through the strategies, insights, and pitfalls of navigating one of the largest financial shifts in history. What you don't know could redefine your legacy.
What if the biggest risk to your retirement isn't running out of money, but never actually enjoying it? One of the most surprising things that I see with people entering retirement, or even in retirement, isn't fear of the market or the markets, or even fear of running out of money. It's actually the fear of spending the money that they've already saved. I hear this all the time. If I've had 10 meetings about retirement in the last week, 9 of them are worried to spend money, and that's what this clip is about. So usually that catches people off guard when we say, hey, please spend some money. And obviously, after all, retirement is supposed to be the moment you finally get to enjoy what you have worked on and worked so hard to save for. But for many retirees, spending just feels uncomfortable. And sometimes for folks, it even feels wrong. And have you ever stopped to wonder and ask yourself why that is? And I think it's because for 30 or 40 years, you were trained to be a saver. You were rewarded for discipline, for saying no, for delaying gratification. Saving wasn't just a habit. It actually became part of your identity. You were the responsible one, the planner, the person who didn't overspend, you didn't overreach, and you did not take unnecessary risks. You may have been one of those people that checked your balance as many times as you could get away with it while working. You know who you are. Then retirement shows up and suddenly the rules change, right? Now you're told it's okay to spend, that you should enjoy it, that this is what the money was for. And emotionally, that shift is far harder than most people expect. Spending for a lot of people doesn't feel like freedom. It feels like you are breaking the rules. I hear this all the time. What if something happens later? Or another concern, what if the market does drop? What if I live longer than expected? What if I need to help my kids? And here's an important question. If the numbers already say you're okay with all of that stuff, what are you actually worried about? Because what we find is the anxiety usually isn't about the purchase, it's about uncertainty. When you're saving, uncertainty actually works in our favor. You can always save more. You're working, right? You can always pull back. But when you start spending money, all of those decisions feel permanent, even when it's not. So I will ask this, are you holding on to habits that protected you in the past, but maybe limiting you now, right? That's where this idea of permission to spend comes in. So permission to spend does not mean being reckless. It doesn't mean ignoring risk, and it certainly doesn't mean pretending everything will magically work out. It actually comes from clarity. When folks have clarity, we typically feel better. It comes from knowing where your income is coming from, understanding how taxes actually affect your withdrawals, or seeing how different scenarios play out over time, the good markets, the bad markets, everything in between. When you have that clarity, spending stops feeling like a gamble and starts feeling more intentional. So instead of asking, can we afford this? The question becomes, does this fit the life that we want to live? Okay, I'll ask you another question worth sitting with. If you knew with confidence that you were not going to run out of money, how differently would you live? And by the way, a more common than you think answer that I hear is, I wouldn't change anything. Okay? The mental shift required in retirement isn't just financial. That's my point here. It's emotional, very emotional. You didn't save for decades just to sit in anxiety. You didn't do everything right only to spend retirement second guessing every decision. And you certainly didn't win the game just to never touch the prize, okay? So ask yourself this: what was all of that discipline actually for, okay? It isn't about spending everything. It's about spending confidently. It's about knowing that you have a plan that accounts for the risk. It accounts for longevity. And again, that unknown, so that when you do choose to spend it, you can actually enjoy it. If you are retired or close to it and spending still feels uncomfortable, it does not mean you're doing something wrong. It means that you're human. The goal is not to change who you are. It's to give yourself permission to enjoy the life you've planned for. And I have to say this, I feel like that's how you retire without regret, right? Make it a great day.
Thank you for listening to the Great Wealth Transfer Podcast. If this podcast resonates with you, reach out to SixPoint Financial Partners at 585-485-6048 or email dpulcini at sixpointfp.com.
Content here is for illustrative purposes and general information only. It is not legal, tax, or individualized financial advice, nor is it a recommendation to buy, sell, or hold any specific security or engage in any specific trading strategy. All investing involves risk, including loss of principal. Results will vary. Past performance is no indication of future results or success. Market conditions change continuously. Information here is provided in part by third-party sources. These sources are generally deemed to be reliable. However, neither SixPoint Financial Partners, Private Client Services, nor RFG Advisory guarantee the accuracy of third-party sources. The views expressed here are those of SixPoint Financial Partners. They do not necessarily represent those of Private Client Services, RFG Advisory, their employees, or their clients. This commentary should not be regarded as a description of advisory services provided by SixPoint Financial Partners or RFG Advisory, or performance returns of any client. The views reflected in the commentary are subject to change at any time without notice. Securities offered by registered representatives through Private Client Services. Member FINRA SIPC. Advisory services offered by investment advisory representatives of RFG Advisory LLC, RFG Advisory, or RFG. A registered investment advisor. Private Client Services, SixPoint Financial Partners, and RFG Advisory are unaffiliated entities. Advisory services are only offered to clients or prospective clients where RFG Advisory and its representatives are properly licensed or exempt from licensure. No advisory services may be rendered by RFG Advisory unless a client agreement is in place.